What do you think of C-section? Is it true that if enough women for enough generations are going to give birth with a C-section, after a few centuries, women will not be able to give birth at all naturally?
There's actually a book on this. It's written by a man named Michel Audant. He's a French OBGYN. I want to say he is maybe 100 years old now.
Still alive?
I don't know if he's still alive.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's passed, but I've read his books. And he actually he said we are epigenetically programming out of our species the ability to have vaginal delivery, right? And that's not hyperbole. That's actually happening, right? Because there's some states, right, and some counties where C-section rate. So nationwide in America, C-section rate is 33% on average, about a third.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. World Health Organization. Do we trust them?
No.
But they actually recommend 15%, right? So it's better than what's in America, right?
But they do it out of the convenience? They do it out of comfort, convenience? The C-section? I believe yes. I believe like 90% of those 30%, they do it because it's more convenient.
So there's I would say not interesting number. So I would say it depends, right? Depends on where you are in the States. There are some hospitals in New York that are over 90%. There are
C-section of all the deliveries?
There are some hospitals in Florida, especially those that are very influenced by Latin America, that are higher than 90%. And there are some countries, Brazil is like almost all C-section.
Why?
Largely because of what you're saying, right? Because it's faster. They can choose the date of birth. They can
choose the date of birth.
They can schedule it. Oh yeah, scheduled C-section is a thing for sure.
You're playing God. You can't do that.
I would say that's a big advantage of conventional modern birth.
So I gotta go and work on Monday. So let's do it Friday evening, Friday night.
When do C-sections go up?
I don't know. When?
Statistically on Friday. Why? Because doctors want to go home.
You're kidding me.
That's not my research, right? So your question was, do I believe that C-sections are a good thing? I would say when they're medically necessary.
Yeah, but
they're a life-saving intervention,
100%.
just like many others, right?
Correct.
So, and I would say further, right? There's C-section delivery is really important, right? Because the vaginal delivery is actually coating the nervous system through the compression and expansion of the vaginal canal, but also the cervical dilation and the uterine contractions is actually turning on the baby's nervous system.
Correct.
Right? And if you don't have that, that's a really important factor, right? So sometimes babies that are born C-section delivery function differently. There's two main reasons for that. One is the missing of that vaginal delivery, right? That actually codes and turns on and stimulates the baby's nervous system to function optimally. The respiratory system is really, really stimulated from the vaginal delivery and the uterine contractions and the cervical dilation.
That's kind of a struggle.
Because it is a struggle,
correct?
Right? And there are primitive reflexes. So there's several primitive reflexes that babies develop on specific a timeline in utero, milestones before babies are actually born. Three of which allow for baby to have the wisdom to find head down posture and also have the biomechanics to be active participants in the birth process. Babies are born, and so when you watch your child, like your oldest, when he was learning to roll over, when he's learning to crawl, he has reflexes that he was actually programming in utero to be a part of birth, right? And if babies don't actually have that programming utilized, then sometimes that leads to different challenges too. Babies that are born via C-section also are missing something called their first meal, which is probiotics from the vaginal canal. And this is not my research, this is known, where some moms that have to have C-section, right? Sometimes it's medically necessary. In the state of California, breech deliveries are not allowed to be born in the hospital, right? They're not allowed to be born at home, so babies have to be born via C-section. And when babies are born via C-section and they don't go through the vaginal canal, the vaginal flora, the beneficial bacteria and all the different microbes of baby don't coat the baby's skin, so that some hospitals and some OBs that are a little bit more open-minded alternative, they will swab and seed the baby's skin upon birth because they know that getting that baby to have an optimal probiotic and microbiome upon birth prevents asthma, prevents allergies, prevents eczema, prevents atopic conditions.
It's
Not my
great.
research, right? And so sometimes they're medically necessary, but in most cases, women don't know all of the options that they have, right?